China has accused Australia of weaponising the concept of national security after the Treasurer thwarted a $300 million bid by a Chinese company to acquire construction giant Probuild. You've had something to say on this today, Joel Fitzgibbon. You're not too comfortable with it, are you?
No, I'm not, Chris. And I have no idea whether the China play on Probuild was a good thing or a bad thing. I have no idea of knowing whether it was in the national interest or not in the national interest. And that's the problem. We have no transparency in this process. But I do know this. Australia is becoming an unattractive place in which to invest. And for all of our history as a country now of 25 million people, and therefore with a limited savings capacity, all of our history we've relied on foreign investment. We desperately need it. And as we look forward, a lot of that available capital will come from China. Now, we should always put our national interest first, but more often than not, our national interest is served by accepting foreign direct investment. And we have no idea why the Foreign Investment Review Board or the Treasurer is making these decisions. We can't, as a community, test them. And I'm now of the very strong view that all of these decisions and the processes should be subject to an in-camera hearing of a parliamentary committee. So we quiz the Treasurer, we can quiz the Foreign Investment Review Board, we can ask them why the decision has been made. And if they can persuade the committee that it was made for the right purposes, well, that's good, because we do need a screening process. We've had one since 1976. It served us well, but I fear now that this process is becoming a political tool for the government. They know it's popular to knock back Chinese suitors. And more particularly, I'm concerned, and I make no accusation against the current Treasurer, not at all, but there must be an opportunity there now, surely, to enrich local investors by cutting out of the market investors from other nation states that might be prepared to offer more for the asset.
OK, asset. You've just mentioned asset. On the flip side, Carolyn, don't we have to also consider, and Joel's right, we don't know the ins and outs, but don't we also have to consider what this government-affiliated construction company does in this country, and that is build some of our crucial assets?
And Probuild has previously, I think there's some police headquarters, I think in New South Wales or Victoria they built. So it was Victoria. So when we're talking about those sort of pieces of government infrastructure, then there definitely needs to be a bit more oversight. I actually don't really disagree with anything that Joel has said, save that I don't think it's being used as a political tool necessarily. I think it's something that, you know, each time one of these foreign investment proposals goes across the desk, you know, we need to look at it rationally, we need to look at it objectively, and there is the national interest and the national security interest. And I think sometimes, you know, I just think we need to be a bit careful in not necessarily putting commercial or shorter-term commercial interests ahead of long-term security interests. Yeah,
well, it's rubbed Beijing up the wrong way, so there better be good reason for it. It would be nice to know the ins and outs